What do you do with time you didn't earn? Tomoko had an answer. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Wherever you're watching this, we continue catching up with what's going with WataMote until hopefully we've mostly caught up. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a warm cup of tea, and let's see what happened after the anime. Last time, Tomoko schemed to make her brother support her forever. She survived one terrible beach trip and one proper one, a sand burial, an inappropriate yell at a tourist, and a banana boat ride. And she quietly admitted that doing normal things with people she likes isn't so bad. Chapter 66 is a short, strange little one. Summer is winding down, and Tomoko's dreading the return to school in just 4 days. Her solution is to try to self-hypnotize herself into actually liking school, standing in front of a mirror, smiling, and repeating out loud that she loves school. The next day, Tomoki catches her doing this and, baffled, looks it up on his phone trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Meanwhile, even in bed, Tomoko's still doing it, smiling, repeating the same line to herself over and over. At breakfast, her mom scolds her for zoning out completely. She heads off to school, and then, mid-thought, wonders what happened to the 3 days of break she still should have had left. And then she wakes up. The whole thing was a dream. She bursts into her brother's room, thrilled to find him still home and not at school, confirming by checking his calendar that her break genuinely isn't over yet. She nearly cries with relief, vowing to make the absolute most of her 3 remaining days. Tomoki just picks her up and slaps her, telling her to actually wake up already. And the chapter closes with Tomoko quietly admitting to herself that, of course, she ended up doing nothing meaningful with those final 3 days after all. 3 days wasted on nothing. The semester waiting for her on the other side wasn't going to be nothing at all. Chapter 67 kicks off the new semester with a fresh seating chart, and Tomoko ends up placed next to a small group of boys who spend their breaks playing handheld games together. Hina, the one girl who actually talked to her all last year, is now seated far across the room. Looking for some way in, Tomoko decides to buy the exact same handheld games the boys are playing, figuring it might give her an opening to join their group. While she's at it, she also picks up an Kotomi game for herself and ends up genuinely enjoying both. The next day, when the boys pull out their games at lunch like always, Tomoko brings hers too, and then just walks right past them, sitting somewhere else entirely to play her Kotomi game all completely alone. One good instinct undone in the last second. The rest of that ordinary day was still ahead of her, and it wasn't finished with her yet. Chapter 68 is presented as a structured, almost diary-like look at a full day, broken into short, labeled sections. A nice format to skim through quickly rather than dwell on any single beat too long. It starts with Tomoko telling herself she should sleep early since school starts in the morning, and instead staying up watching an anime, noticing that boring shows somehow feel more interesting once she's exhausted. She picks up a couple of nonsense catchphrases from a character along the way. The next morning, she tries one of them out on her brother as he heads off early to practice, asking if it makes him want to kill her. He just tells her to get out of his way. At school, Hina greets her. Tomoko stammers back, and Hina goes right back to chatting with 2 other classmates about the upcoming school trip, leaving Tomoko to sit alone, listening to a different group of boys talk about anime nearby. During Japanese history class, the lecture turns to the Warring States period, and Tomoko gets lost in a tangent, imagining what it would have been like as a noble girl back then, married off young, reduced to basically being a baby-making machine, with no manga, no games, nothing. A small silver lining, she decides. Since most of the warlords were probably gay, at least she'd had something to watch. A surprise quiz drops, and she aces it, earning a genuine compliment from her teacher for paying attention, which is funny given what she was actually thinking about. At lunch, eating convenience store food at her desk, the school intercom plays the theme song from the exact anime she stayed up watching the night before. The boys near her get excited about it, and Tomoko notices 2 other girls a short distance away quietly watching their reaction. She finishes eating and leaves, unable to quite place why the whole moment left her so uncomfortable. Later, killing time with her handheld game, she's asked to name her character. The game blocks her first couple of obscene attempts, but she finally slips one past the filter and is delighted with herself. She messages Tomoki, asking if he's ever tried to sneak rude names past game censors too, or if it's just her. He ignores it completely. Irritated by the silence, she just sends the same message again. In her afternoon class, she's fighting to stay awake, remembering a previous time when the same teacher punished her by making her stand for an entire lesson after falling asleep. This time, she watches a boy named Kakinuma doze off mid-notes instead. He gets jolted awake and scolded the same way she once was. But where the room went dead silent when it happened to her, the rest of the class just laughs at him. She can't quite figure out why the reaction was so different. Walking home afterward, genuinely worn down, she realizes the only thing that got her through the day was looking forward to picking up the latest chapter of a manga at the convenience store, only to discover, to her real disappointment, that the series is on hiatus because the author is dealing with back pain. Back home, her mom drops the news that the water heater is broken, meaning a trip to the public bathhouse is required. Tomoko's initial reaction is to be annoyed. This is the kind of contrived setup that only happens in cheap anime, before immediately pivoting to fantasizing about some faded romantic encounter happening there instead. 3 hours later, she's just lying in bed with her stuffed toy, rationalizing that skipping the bath entirely is fine, since she only sits next to those 3 boys at school anyway. If she still sat near Hina, she admits, she'd actually care more about how she smells. The chapter ends echoing how it began. She tells herself again that she should sleep early and instead stays up watching another anime, noting that sports series she has zero real interest in somehow lands better when she's exhausted. She observes that the boys in this particular show seem to get along suspiciously well, and that the female manager character has basically stopped mattering to the plot. She picks up a new word from it, this time, homo, and the narration notes simply that yesterday's catchphrase has already been overwritten by a new one. One phrase replaced by another, like nothing happened at all. That's most days for her right now. The ones that don't stay ordinary are actually about to start. Even with old friends, some days still feel exactly like they used to. That's where Tomoko stands going into the last night before the Kyoto trip. 3 people are about to walk into her life, whether she's ready or not, and nothing about how she spent this summer has prepared her for them. If you like this content so far, please leave a like and maybe subscribe, as that helps this small channel a little bit. Come back next time as we continue to catch up with WataMote. Take care and go out there and make the world a slightly better place.